Our next contestant, Zach Anderson, Finding the Hero in You. Finding the Hero in You, Zach Anderson.
130%. That's how much more likely young adults were to enter leadership positions after getting help from a mentor. Mentoring matters. Ladies and gentlemen, can you think of a mentor that you've had in your life? For me, I've had several, from education and into the workplace, but I can really only think of one mentor who really stepped up for me and got me through a really tough challenge. Can you think of a mentor like that in your life? If not, then hopefully today I can convince you that there's still time to find that special mentor. But more importantly, hopefully I can convince you that there's still time to be that special mentor for somebody else. For me, that special mentor was Sean. And I'd like to tell you a little bit about Sean today. You see, I still remember the first time I met Sean, almost like it was yesterday. It was my freshman year of college, and I was just turning in my very first calculus exam. Has anybody taken calculus in this room? Quite a few of you. If not, I'm sure you can relate with the tough course you took at one point. But for us calc students, we have one thing in common. That's that we all claim that we have the hardest professor of them all. But let me tell you something, folks. I had the hardest professor of them all. Because as I'm turning in this exam, it's 9 o'clock in the evening. Our professor would allocate a special time outside of the classroom just so we'd have enough time to complete his brutally hard exams. But as I'm turning in that exam, I know that I could have had all the time in the world and still not finish that thing. I mean, I studied, but these new symbols, they looked like hieroglyphs to me. What happened? I was crushed, and I felt even ashamed of myself as I turned in the unfinished exam. As I walked out of the exam room, who's the first person I see? It's Sean. Now, Sean wasn't the professor for this course. I could tell he was a professor because he had a certain demeanor to him. But what was he doing here in the evening? He was talking to the students, the victims of that brutal onslaught that had happened in that room. Now, this really caught my eye. I mean, you've got a professor taking up his evening, going out of his way to lift the spirits of students who weren't even his. That's amazing. But what else caught my eye was his attire. Blue jeans, black blazer, over a Green Lantern superhero t-shirt. He had style. Now, after talking with Sean for a few moments, I started to feel better about myself. Like maybe I didn't do so bad on that exam after all. And after 2 weeks of restless anticipation, we finally got the results back. And I got my very first F. Oh, I was crushed. But with the help of people like Sean, the support of the professor who didn't give up on me, I made sure that was my very last F, D, or even C I would ever get. And I made it a turning point for myself. Jump ahead 3 short years, and I'm starting my senior year in college. And I decided to join a program that pairs students with professors in their field of study to conduct a research project for a few semesters. And our very first task is to find a professor who's willing to put up with us and become our mentor. Wow, that's tough. I mean, who's going to want to put up with me? I knew who I wanted to ask. And when I finally got the courage to go up and ask Sean to be my mentor, let's do this. He enthusiastically agreed to take me under his wing. And that started what quickly became a rocky journey, to say the least, because he chose a tough topic to research. There were times when I got stuck, a lot of times, and I'm sure you know how it is when you get stuck. You get frustrated, and when you're frustrated for too long, you want to give up and quit. And trust me, I wanted to quit so many times. But then, there were those meetings with Sean, the one-on-ones that we had every week, where I'd tell him everything that I'd found out throughout the week, and I'd really feel like he was proud of me. Or more often than I'd like to admit, I'd tell him I was stuck the whole week and got nowhere, and expect disappointment. But Sean was never disappointed in me. He only helped push me through those tough challenges and give me words of encouragement. As a matter of fact, as nerdy as I'm guessing it probably seems, some of my most memorable moments from college were just Sean and I sitting in his office trying to prove theorems up on his whiteboard. It was awesome. It made the whole experience worthwhile, and I feel like I was really a better person in the end for sticking with it. Now today, as I find myself more and more in positions to mentor other people, I think about what makes a good mentor, and I think back to what Sean did for me as my mentor. Of course, a good mentor points out your flaws and helps you improve them, but a great mentor is willing to sometimes go out of their way to help you. They're never disappointed in you if you don't reach some high bar that they might have set. But most importantly is that they make you feel like you really belong. Like what you're doing with them is exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And that's definitely what I had with Sean. Now think about that. A mentor is somebody who helps you out, points out your flaws, but makes you feel good about improving them? Are you kidding me? That would be amazing to have that type of a person in your life. Which is why I say to you, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, never feel discouraged or embarrassed or shy to go seek help from a mentor, because they're only going to help you improve and move to the next level, no matter what level that might be. But on the flip side to that, if you find yourself in a position to mentor somebody else, which I know pretty much all of you are because you have an amazing set of skills, but if you get the opportunity to be a mentor for somebody else, take on that challenge, because I know that you yourself will have so much to gain from the experience, and to your protege, well,